Greetings, all you Jacks and Jennets, and welcome to your Daily Dose of Donkey with Ginger. It's your boy, the Viking Donkey, here to bring you the Donk Nation Power Index, the Donk Nation Power Rankings. That means Laskers and Gingy turned in their homework, and we're going to go ahead and just get it started with some teams, getting eliminated from the playoffs. Looking at you, Cleveland, with all the high hopes. But hey, we got to see where all the teams fit in these last couple weeks where there are a few teams still fighting it out for playoff appearances. So let's start with the power index. Let's start at the bottom. Houston holds on to that last spot, but they did beat Tennessee this week, which gives the team right above them, the Chicago Bears, maybe a chance at that number one pick. As the Bears, they keep losing to keep things right in line. Right above those two, we have the Indianapolis Colts. If Jeff Saturday thought that Nick Foles gave him the best chance to win, he may need to reevaluate himself, as that does not seem to be a thing that's working. Arizona Cardinals actually move up a spot despite blowing a big lead. No, I guess not a big lead, but a fourth quarter lead to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers led by Tom Brady. And third stringer can't get the job done. A lot of things coming out about Kyler Murray and Cliff Kingsbury over there. Who knows whose job is safe? But as you'll see later, actually you'll see right now, the quarterback's normally the one with a safe job. As the Denver Broncos come in at 28, they got embarrassed, gave up 50 points to the Rams, and Nathaniel Hackett loses his job over that. But hey, they're still kept with Russell Wilson, and that's the thing that really needs to change there in Denver. The Rams are the team right above the Broncos, and man, Baker Mayfield putting in a couple wins since joining the Rams, which is more than any other quarterback on that team really has done this year, and absolutely embarrassed the Broncos. What can you say? Above them, we got Atlanta. That loss about kills their season. Carolina had a big game. Sets up a huge matchup this week against Tampa Bay as they ran for over 200 yards against Detroit and just embarrassed them. New Orleans got a win over Cleveland, a whole bunch of nothing there. Above them, we got the Raiders, who had lost to Pittsburgh, and now Derek Carr is apparently disappearing because he got benched, but he's going to go away from the team and not be a distraction. Who knows what's going on there? Right above them, we have Cleveland. They better hope that Deshaun Watson starts looking better than he has. I understand the 2 years off is a rusty thing, but he doesn't seem to be progressing. He seems to be going the other direction, and that could be trouble since next year they're going to have to pay him a lot of money. Above them, we got the Pittsburgh Steelers. You had to win the Immaculate Reception game with 13 points. That just seemed to be fitting, and it keeps their slim playoff hopes alive. Right above them is Tennessee. The huge loss to Houston last week means this week's game doesn't matter, but next week's matchup with Jacksonville will matter as they have a chance to win the division, but their wild card hopes have already been dashed, so might as well rest people this Thursday. Seattle. This is a team that's lost 5 of the last 6. The Cinderella's shoe, it fell off. They ran from the party, and it turned midnight way before the end of the season for Seattle. Tampa Bay, another bad game that looked ugly, but Brady does Brady things, and you give him the chance. He wins the game in the fourth quarter, keeps their playoff hopes strong as they can clinch the division this week against Carolina. Above them is Green Bay. They keep winning, and maybe the playoffs are a chance as Detroit's big loss, Washington, the Giants loss. Green Bay's back in the talk. Speaking of Detroit, the worst defense in the league gets absolutely run over, gives up a bunch of points to Carolina. They lose, really hurting their chances. Right above them, you have the Jets. It's quite literally the opposite. A great defense that can't get any support because that offense has no way of scoring points. Above them is Jacksonville. The big win here. They keep not only division hopes alive, but technically a really, really slim chance at the wild card, but I don't see the reason for that. Make sure you're ready to go for Week 18 in that huge matchup against Tennessee if you're Jacksonville. Washington, the loss this week leads to a quarterback controversy as playoff hopes are starting to dwindle. As a matter of fact, the only reason they're in right now is because they have a tie and not a loss, so hey, they're still holding on. Giants, another team that has slipped down. They're in a good spot solely due to the fact that Washington, Seattle, and Detroit all lost. That gets us to 11. The first team to miss the top 10 is New England with another loss, with another weird play by Stevenson, the running back. This time, last week was the weird decision to lateral ball, which I don't know if the coaches made or not. This week, he just fumbles when they look like they're going in to win the game. I mean, New England just not executing. That keeps our top 10 with Miami holding in there. I mean, the big loss this week. Tua in concussion protocol kind of jeopardizes their playoff hopes. They have to get something going or they could miss out. Right above them is the LA Chargers, who jump into the top 10, as we're going to see here. They did it this time. They made the playoffs this year, not losing with 2 seconds to go in overtime. Huge for them. Good job, Herbert. Let's see if they can do something in the playoffs. Above them, you have Minnesota. Maybe Kirk Cousins is for real as he delivers another big win and another big comeback for Minnesota. But I'm going to say this. He has to do it in the playoffs before I really believe. Above them is Baltimore, winning without Jackson again, keeping a chance at the division alive is big for them. Cincinnati got the big win against New England because of a huge fumble and turnover there. Above them, you got Kansas City, winners of 8 of their last 9. Things are really gelling there. And for some reason, the power ranking wants to drop them, but that's purely because their defense is a bottom half defense. Above them, you have San Francisco, who has the best defense in the league, somehow a top 10 offense, even though they're playing with Brock Purdy now. But hey, maybe Brock Purdy's got that Ben Roethlisberger rookie magic going. You never know. Dallas stays at 3. They had a huge needed win over Philly because if they lost that game to Minshew, you know that would have killed the confidence. Huge game for confidence there. 2, you have Buffalo. They finally got a 100-yard rusher as Singletary breaks the 100-yard mark. And the young Cook tried to get in there, but he only had 99. But hey, they're off the list of teams without a 100-yard rusher. Kudos to them. And, of course, number 1, still Philly. Minshew Mania was not enough to get the job done this week. But, you know, they're not in a hugely bad spot as they hopefully will get Hurts back for the playoffs, and it seems like they have that division on wrap. So let's get into Gingy's top 10. We'll start from the bottom to the top. You have Miami, the Chargers, Baltimore, Cincy, Minnesota, San Fran, Dallas, Kansas City, Buffalo, and Philly. And Laskers, you're going to see a similar top 4, but not the bottom. You have Miami, the Chargers, then Baltimore. But here's the mix-up. San Fran, then Cincy, Minnesota starting the top 5, Dallas, Kansas City, Buffalo, and Philly. And we just went over the power index, but if you forgot, we'll go really quick. Miami, Chargers, Minnesota, Baltimore, Cincy, Kansas City, San Francisco, Dallas, Buffalo, and Philly. Which means, I guess I should tell you on the power index who were the biggest movers this week before we get into the Donk Nation Power Rankings top 10. Biggest movers this week was the LA Chargers were up 5 spots. The New York Jets, New York Giants, Seattle Seahawks, Tennessee Titans, Cleveland Browns, and Las Vegas Raiders were all your biggest droppers as they all dropped down 3 spots. Now, let's get into it. The reveal, the Donk Nation Power Rankings top 10. All right. Again this week, no one dropped out. We have the same top 10. Kind of fun. What you'll see is though 3 groups of teams flip-flopped as Miami's down a spot to take in number 10. The Chargers are up a spot to take up number 9. Baltimore stays pat at 8. Minnesota drops down a spot to come in at 7, while Cincy goes up a spot to take over number 6. San Fran holding down the spot. They're being strong. They're holding the number 5 spot. Dallas, despite the win, drops down a spot, which kind of makes sense. It wasn't the greatest showing out there. Kansas City moves up a spot to take that number 3 spot, right behind your Buffalo Bills, who hold on to number 2, and the Philadelphia Eagles, who are holding strong at number 1. All I have to say is it's fun out here doing this. I can't wait for Steelers talk this week. Get to talk to Mac, the reception game. Get to talk slim playoff hopes that could be dashed before the Steelers even take the field. So make sure you tune in to Steelers Talk. That's all we have going on for the Power Rankings show. I am the Viking Donkey. That's Viking_Donkey on Twitch and Twitter. Your daily dose of Donkey with Ginger's YouTube channel where you get to have all this fun content. Jax, Jennets, Donk Nation, Steeler Nation. I love y'all. But it's time to let you know we gotta wave them if you got them. Because here we go, Steelers.